All right, so let's jump to these 7K guys. We'll go to the 7,500. We'll go down to the 7,500 guys. So Chappelle, Snedeker, Peters, Kuchar, Noren, Hatton, and Kisner. I don't know. It's like Hatton was like, for lack of a better term, he was the shit. Going into the Masters.
He was.
And now he's just nothing now. In terms of just people talking about him. I don't know. Matt, I'll start off with you. What are you thinking here for this upper half of the 7K range? And then, maybe my dude Hatton.
I mean, I feel like it's trending towards me having all the Peters. I just think I don't know. I don't know what, Roger, I don't know what your opinion is on like comparing salaries and Vegas odds and stuff like that. But he's pretty low priced compared to his Vegas odds in this range. So like you're looking at like Hatton has the 44th best odds to top 20 and they're what, $200 apart, and Peters has the 12th best odds to top 20. So those kinds of things sort of make me open my eyes a little bit. Peters has okay distance off the tee, and he's a good ball striker, so I'm kind of leaning towards him. And then my boy Kuchar, the anti-brand play, but I don't care what it is.
We have this conversation every week.
I don't care what it is. I don't care what the course is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't seem to matter anymore. Like I don't know what the deal is, but I just feel like, yeah, maybe he won't have the highest of upsides, but he just doesn't miss cuts. Like, and listening to Roger was on, what were you on, Tour Junkies probably maybe a month and a half ago. Mm-hmm. Listening to you talk about that sort of got me onto this like mode of thinking of like, yeah, it's great if these guys have upside, but like if they miss the cut, then you're kind of screwed no matter what anyway.
The entire no upside narrative on Kuchar it's nonsense. I mean,
right.
he finished 4th at Muirfield, 12th at Colonial, 9th at the Byron Nelson. What more do you want? I mean, like
right.
the guy is like he's sick. I mean,
it's the Skechers. That's the problem. It's the Skechers commercials that just completely ruined his brand.
I don't know what it is, but
his brand. I'm sorry to cut you off. Now his brand is entirely dedicated to the be as close to a dad brand as possible.
Yeah,
like if those shoes were New Balance, that's peak dad level. Like
yeah,
for sure.
Well, I don't know what it is. Either way, I find myself weirdly having to defend Kuchar more than I would like, and I don't understand. I really don't understand that because, look, I understand.
He's good.
Well, he's had a few shaky moments this season. Obviously, a couple of odd missed cuts. Weird stuff. The nice 81 blow up at Sawgrass, not fun. But other than that, I mean. He's Matt Kuchar. He's not going to make a whole lot of mistakes, and he's the reason to like him on a course like this is that he's used to this. He's probably the only guy under 285, I'd say, on average that I'll even be touching, and the reason is that. This is his game. He's used to having, maybe with a little fairway roll, and we'll see if there's any of that after all the rain. He's probably going to be like 220 out on some of these holes, but you know what? If you had to ask me if I wanted Dustin Johnson or Matt Kuchar with a long iron, I'm going to take Matt Kuchar all day. And the reason is that Matt Kuchar hits a lot more long irons than Dustin Johnson does on the golf course. And he gets up and down basically every goddamn time.
Yeah.
That's his game. He grinds it out. And somehow he manages to make birdies where other birdies shouldn't be had. But yet there he is. And he, finds his way. And it's like everyone's always surprised by it too. It's like, there's Matt Kuchar with another backdoor top 15. How did that happen? Like, well, maybe if you fucking paid attention, you'd notice the fact that this guy is legit. You know, and he has been for his whole goddamn career. So I don't know. I think he's a great play. I do like Thomas Pieters. I think he's actually longer than you're giving him credit for. I mean, they've called him the new Belgian bomber. You know, and it's. Yeah, well, and it's shown. I mean, you look at where he's done well at a place like Riviera, where Dustin Johnson and Bubba Watson in the past have done well. You know, that's a very good prototype mold. It's a tight golf course too. So imagine him with more room. Augusta. I mean, obviously, you know, there's some guys that have been able to get around that course without the length, but it certainly doesn't hurt. You know, right. was in contention there the whole way. Yeah, I think he's an excellent bargain here. Poised golfer too. You know, for someone who's coming over and playing, and he did go to school here, so it's not as if he's, you know, totally foreign to U.S. golf. But to be coming from the European Tour, you see a lot of guys fall flat on their face. I mean, look at Bernd Wiesberger over his first few years here after dominating in Europe. I mean, even Noren hasn't done that great here. I mean, he played okay at Sawgrass. Like that's all right, but he hasn't been by any means as dominant as he has been on the European Tour. Alexander Levy tried to come here before. I mean, there's plenty of European Tour golfers that have come to America and done nothing, but Pieters has kind of hit the ground running. So I feel pretty comfortable with him. But yeah, I think the other guy in this range that I absolutely love is Kevin Kisner. I sort of see Kevin Kisner as the next generation's Matt Kuchar. You know, a little longer than Matt Kuchar, not by much, maybe a 285, 290-ish range guy, but the same level-headed versatility that you see from a guy like Kuchar. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's an excellent scrambler. I mean, who was his partner? Was it at the Zurich? Basically,
Scott Brown.
Yeah, Scott Brown said he didn't line up a putt the whole week. He had Kevin Kisner read every one of them. I mean, like, you know, that's him. He's just a machine. And hey, look what it's done. He shipped Colonial, and he came out at Muirfield the next week when everyone thought he was going to have a winner's hangover, whatever the fuck that means, and finished sixth. I mean, you know, he's just a damn solid golfer. So I like him a lot there.
Yeah, for sure. And shout out to Scott Brown for getting me first round leader last week too. I just wanted to.
Yeah, there you go. Amen.
All right, so yeah, we definitely talked about the top half of the 7K range. Now we'll go to the lower half of that range, so 74 to 7K. We'll start off Fleetwood Reed, Rafael Cabrera Bello. I guess that's how you'd say it in his tongue. Louis Oosthuizen and JB Holmes.
Worst
and as the
pronunciation.
I try, you know. God only knows I try. That's what I could put on my tombstone. That's what I've done with every sport, because sometimes in baseball you get some names. Really,
I'm gonna start calling him Kevin, quote unquote, Dave Chappelle from now on. I like that one.
I did that. The first pods I did with Matt, I did that. I called him Chappelle.
You did it this pod too.
Yeah, I was gonna say you did it 3 minutes ago.
I'm saying, like, I did it way back then too. So it's like nothing's been fixed. Like nothing's changed in the however long we've been doing this pod at this point. So it's like, you know, why change? Just keep the brand, give everyone a good laugh.
Fair enough.
Maybe spew some good golf rhetoric.
I hear you, man.
Yeah.
All right. So
as we
talk about
as we sort of go through like the bottom half of the 7K, like I don't know. I mean, I have this soft spot in my heart for Tommy Fleetwood because of what he did to make the cut. I think it was the Arnold Palmer.
Oh God, I remember that. I had him in cash.
He went like,
oh my goodness,
he went like 76, then 66 or something outrageous.
Yeah, it was a huge saver for at least one of my lines. Even though I think Henrik Stenson spoiled almost everything that week, so it didn't make a difference. But anyway, go on.
No, but so I mean, objectively, I don't think I'm going to have a whole bunch of him. Cabrera Bello, who you mentioned before, I feel like has been, I mean, how can you really, he missed the cut, a couple weeks ago. But 3 of his last 4 starts, he's been been great. So he's somebody I'm definitely taking a look at. And then, I mean, as we go through a little bit, I can turn it over to you. I like Gary Woodland a little bit too this week, but who else are you looking at, Roger?
Personally, I still don't think, even though I wasn't that impressed with him at Muirfield, you can't go wrong with Brendan Steele. Especially, again, when the recipe for success is long straight. Guy is pretty much the definition of that.
Yep.
So I'm a fan of him. I think, same arguments that go for a lot of the guys we talked about go for him as well. When you take a lot of the difficult putting out of the equation, that helps a guy like Steele. I mean, the only problem with him is that if he's missing greens, then you're in trouble.
Right.
So I like him reasonably well. It's a very cheap price to pay. I am a fan. Finally, I'm a fan of Louis Oosthuizen's price. My God, finally we get him at a place where I don't feel ridiculous paying for him. I mean, just so many damn events where I've been like, I'd love to pay for you if you weren't, like more expensive than Adam Scott. Some weeks,
right.
What have you. And we finally get him somewhere where it actually makes sense to grab a guy like him. Very well-balanced game in general, plenty of length for sure, and has been very effective. The way I kind of think about Aaron Hills is it reminds me of sort of a really long British Open course, right? There's no trees, huge, disgusting fescue off to the sides, but it's pretty wide. As long as you don't go insane, you're probably not going to get into too much trouble.
Right.
It's just a lot longer than your average British Open golf course. So, and I don't think that's going to be a challenge for him. So given what we've seen from him at those types of tracks, I can imagine we're going to be hopefully seeing some similar sort of excellence out of him this week. I wouldn't be surprised. It's hard to ignore Schwartzel here after what we saw last week. The putter really helped him. He gained 7 strokes putting last week, which is a lot. Like a lot. So I think his position was inflated substantially by those kind of numbers, and I wouldn't expect to see him replicate that sort of performance again. But he was still very effective tee to green as well. So again, like Oosthuizen, South African, funk here, I guess, but plenty of length, very good, well-balanced player. If the wrist issues are behind him, then I think I can definitely get behind that. Last guy here, disappointing Sunday last week, but Mr. Francesco Molinari, or as we call him at Fire, Fran Vestite. I don't know how that name got started, but
certainly fitting for our day and age.
I don't know. We just started calling him that. I think it was Andrew Sullivan, one of our subscribers, who came up with that name. But now every time he birdies, it's Fran Vestite birdie. Everyone gets pumped in the chat. So yeah, not quite as long as I'd like for a guy here, but you know what? It really hasn't been a problem for him in the past anywhere he's gone. Steady golfer, doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes. This is a pretty damn good price for him. Has done well at U.S. Open venues over the years where I would have figured him to not have a chance. Played well in 2015 at Chambers Bay. That's a big golf course for a guy like him. And Pinehurst #2 in 2014 also did well. I just like his game here. I think he's probably good for a made cut at the very least. I would be very surprised if you saw him not get through it at least. So that's kind of the guys I think I'm really looking at around here.
Yeah, I can get on board with that. I really like Molinari this week too. I didn't scroll down far enough to see that he was. I thought for some reason in my head I thought he was 6,900, but I mean I'm fully on board with that. I don't see a lot of situations where he doesn't at least make the cut. So, I think this is an interesting range because like we talked about at the top, like I really feel like you can play a few of these guys with some confidence and be able to fit in, the higher price guys that you want. So, after this, there's a couple guys here and there, but it becomes pretty ugly pretty quick after a while, but we can dive into that now.